Can you tell us your story of recruiting and college admissions?
My whole story right now?
Yeah, like the high school story.
Um, for me, the recruitment process was pretty intense. No one in my family had went through it in the same way that I was going through it at the time. And so as helpful and as supportive as my parents were, it was also very isolating and very frustrating at times. Volleyball was also just kind of on the up and up. And so there weren't as many, I didn't have access to resources or to as many players who had gone through the same thing that I did. Whereas now with this age of social media and TikTok, it's so easy to like get a glimpse of what life is going to look like for you once you decide to go play in college, or even if you decide to go play overseas. And so now kids just have so much access to getting an idea of what to expect, whereas back then you really had no idea and you kind of had to just take a chance. And so I received my first letter in the mail from Indiana University, and I remember getting out the mailbox and giving it to mom and being like, "What is this?" And she looked at me, she was like, "I don't know." And we were like, okay. And then slowly more started coming in and the mailbox started being full. And my mom, at one point we just kind of had trash bags full of mail. Now I know they don't send mail the same way that they used to anymore. But for me, especially once I figured out that I was interested in Georgetown, the whole college admissions process was kind of expedited. And so in sophomore year, I was figuring out my courses and making sure I was on the right trajectory to be admitted into Georgetown or any other highly selective schools that I was looking at. And so it was a lot of back and forth between my counselors, my coaches, and the admissions office at Georgetown. And then I actually received my full ride offer from Georgetown in the end of my sophomore year, and I committed in the beginning of my junior year. And the way that I chose Georgetown, when I was going through the process, I knew two things. I knew I didn't want to be in the cornfields, and I knew that I didn't want to be too far away from home. And yes, there are so many schools, and it really only narrowed me down to a select few. But when I went on my visit to Georgetown and I saw how cohesive the community was, the city of Washington, D.C., the girls that were on the team at the time made me feel like I was already there. And that was so important for me, especially after going through such an isolating recruitment process, and to finally to get somewhere and feel like they wanted me there and that I was supposed to be there was amazing.